Hello everyone and welcome back to my Beyond the Gates 24 official YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Beyond the Gates spoilers indicate that just as Dani Dupree allowed, she was over Bill Hamilton, her ex-husband pulled a trick that smelled her back by. During the Monday, March occasion, Dani was arrested for the shots she fired during Bill and Haley Lawson's marriage. For all the drama she endured, Bill ended up dropping the charges, which, ironically, left Dani feeling as if he was still in love with her. During the week of March, Dani went to visit Haley to let her know that she was over her and Bill's treason. Dani made it clear that she was ready to move on and leave the history in the history. Fast forward to the Friday, March occasion, and Dani gathered her family together to let them know that she was done pouting about Bill and ready to live her life. As the Dupree family started celebrating Dani's newfound happiness, her son-in-law Bobby Jacob Hawthorne crashed the party to arrest her, grounded on Bill's charge. As Dani was being reserved, Haley caught wind of her arrest, went to the station, and demanded Bill drop the charges. While she was sorry that she fell in love with Bill, Haley was sorry at the heartbreak she caused Dani and the rest of the Dupree family. Under his new woman's request, Bill did drop the charges and Dani was released. Still, Haley was impressed by Bill's conduct, and it looks like these two are starting their marriage off on a sour note. Once Dani was released, she headed home with her parents. She had a heart-to-heart with Anita Dupree, where she revealed she was still in love with Bill. Dani viewed the arrest and also the dropping of the charges as Bill's way of trying to keep her in his route, as she had just told him and his bridegroom that she was ready to move on. She believed that the arrest and dropping of the charges was just a way to keep him in her mind. She also confessed that she'd have Bill back if he wanted a reunion. Dani has a point, but at the same time, seems a laddie delusional. On the one hand, why would Bill watch to see Dani get penalized? He should be celebrating his new woman and heading on a honeymoon. Dani promised no further drama last week, so why bring on new drama? On the other hand, would he have dropped the charges unless Haley had claimed? Why is he so fraudulent on making Dani pay? Nicole and Eva grow closer, and Leslie decides to run a DNA test on Ted. Plus, Doug gets deeper in debt with Joey while Vanessa keeps her options open with Diego. Derek has an exigency, and Martin tries to keep Smitty from returning to work. Joey and Randy met at Orphe Jean's, where Randy asked his master how always knew how to manipulate his guests. As they talked, Randy complained about his lack of luck with women, and Joey explained that gambling was frequently more addicting than coitus for certain people. Of course, Joey said he didn't have an addicting personality himself but had a gift for manipulating those who did. When Randy joked about Doug, Joey said he didn't watch about the man, only about what he could get from him. Randy was concerned about Doug and asked Joey not to harm him. Joey said that Doug was only useful if he was alive. However, he demanded to ensure he kept coming back to the summer house, if Randy truly wanted to cover him. Meanwhile, Andre visited the sanitarium and took a picture of Ashley before pulling out a framed series of prints of her. He congratulated her, saying she didn't have a bad side, which impressed her. Derek was rushed into the ER after being knocked down. Liam, the EMT, explained they had to drag him out. Andre suspected that it was just a concussion, but Ashley reminded him he was a croaker. He told her not to assume the worst and also left to visit his aunt. Ashley rushed to Derek's room, and he joked about why she looked worried. She told him that a burning ceiling had collapsed on him. Shivering, Derek realized he was in the sanitarium. He plotted to flash back anything but aloud. He might have saved a cat. Ashley comforted him that memory setbacks were normal for a concussion and advised him against taking gratuitous pitfalls once he recovered. She kissed him. At the country club, Eva joined Nicole and brought her Ted's laptop since hers had failed. Nicole talked about her workload, and Eva offered to help. She was impressed when Eva donated to help with drafting her speech. As they worked, Eva suggested incorporating particular jests, but Nicole admitted those recollections were too raw. Eva ignored a phone call as they edited the speech. Andre showed up, and Nicole suggested he come back laterally to talk about Prince. Eva excused herself, and Nicole promised to repay her for her help before leaving with Andre. Meanwhile, Leslie repeatedly called Eva, and she eventually picked up. Leslie checked if everything was pacing as planned. Eva prompted her to be patient, but Leslie assured her that the Richardsons wouldn't know what hit them. Latterly, Nicole and Andre visited the sanitarium to check on Ashley and Derek. Ashley told them that Derek would be kept for observation for many days. She returned to Derek's room, where they continued to flirt. Back home, Eva set up Leslie gaping into space. Eva participated details about her day, including her work on the fate. Leslie said that the event would be the perfect occasion to expose Nicole and Ted. Eva argued that there was no reason to ruin Nicole's big day. Leslie indicted her of growing too close to Nicole and demanded assurance of her commitment to their vengeance. To prove herself, Eva said she'd stolen a straw from Ted to get his DNA. Leslie claimed they could use it to defy Ted when he denied Eva's maternity. Eva wanted to stay for the DNA results, but as soon as she walked down, Leslie called someone for a favor. Away, Vanessa respected Diego, and Doug's unforeseen appearance startled her. She was detracted by Diego as he spoke to notoriety differently. Latterly, Doug ignored a phone call and told his woman he'd the autumn off. He apologized for his once jest and for giving her reasons to misdoubt him. Vanessa was glad for his station change but claimed she demanded to return to her drill. After she left, Randy texted Doug, asking him to meet at the summer house. At the summer house, Joey told Doug that some high breakers were in city. Doug was surprised when Joey offered to frontal him some plutocrat to play. A head long, Doug ran out of plutocrat, but Joey continued to offer him more. Doug said it was too important, but Joey claimed. As Joey and Randy watched, Joey explained that he planned to push Doug so deep into debt that he wouldn't know what hit him. Back at the club, Diego caught Vanessa flirting with another coach. Once the coach left, Diego brazened her. She slighted him, and said that she'd see whoever she wanted. Diego told her that no one could satisfy her like he could. At home, Smitty showed up with Heritage tomatoes, only to find Martin fuming. Martin learned that Smitty was still looking for journalism jobs. Smitty said he demanded to do what was right for him, but Martin bothered he'd get involved in commodity dangerous. Their children, Samantha and Tyrell, walked in as they argued. Smitty explained he wanted to return to work. The kiddies didn't see the issue and wondered why Martin was so worried. Martin said he wanted to cover them. Samantha refocused out that utmost parents worked, and there was no reason Smitty shouldn't have a job. Martin conceded, agreeing for Smitty to take on one assignment as a test. Smitty tried to allure Martin upstairs, but Martin claimed he'd work to do. Latterly, Martin fell asleep and had an agony. He woke up yelling, which startled the kiddies. Smitty comforted him they were safe and transferred the teens back to bed before lying down again. Bradley Smitty Smith had a career as an intelligencer, but gave it up when he married Martin Richardson. Smitty lately told Martin that he wanted to go back to work as an intelligencer. Martin was against this idea, as he's well apprehensive that Smitty would take off in his career and neglect him and his part as housekeeper. That may not stop Smitty from going back and keeping the verity about his new job from his hubby. When he stumbles upon some shocking information about his hubby, he'll be torn and it would produce quite a fix for himself. Bradley Smith is tasked with probing an unsolved murder. After settling into his job as an intelligencer, Smitty would soon be assigned to write in composition regarding an unsolved murder that has everyone in the area thwarted. This murder happened times agone, and none of the details add up or make sense. He'd realize also that Bill Hamilton might also have a connection to this crime. The nearer that Smitty gets, the deeper he's in. Knowing that Martin has had agonies for numerous times, the details of what Martin has told him may lead him to conclude that Martin knows commodity about this particular murder as he continues his disquisition for his story. He'd continually question him, and this would rankle Martin. Martin's agonies would get indeed worse, and he'd start to flash back details that are buried. Smitty would realize that Martin doesn't flash back much, and is suppressing what happened. He'll start to believe that Martin killed the victim, but knows that Martin has no memory of this. Bradley Smith realizes that Martin Richardson is a killer. Smitty would eventually put the pieces together, and realize that Martin is indeed the killer. After further probing, he'd learn that Bill covered the murder up for the Dupree family to cover Martin. This would shock Smitty to his core, and he'd be torn between killing the story, or exposing the verity, which would eventually lead to the end of Martin's freedom, and there would also be zero chance of him continuing his political career. Do you suppose that Smitty will intimately go back to work? Will he concurrently uncover Martin's shocking secret? Did Martin commit murder? Keep watching Beyond the Gates, weekdays on CBS, to find out what Martin is hiding.